quick look at the agenda for today's topic. So, firstly, we will talk about why digital marketing planning is necessary, followed by which we'll take a look at the structure of a marketing plan, and then move ahead and take a look at how to make an effective marketing plan work and best practices to improve your digital marketing plan. So, these are the topics that we'll be discussing in this session. So, let's get started with this session, guys. So, the first topic is why digital marketing plan is necessary. A digital marketing plan is a document that mainly includes the details of your marketing campaigns, short and long term business goals, and so on. It is also sometimes called a digital marketing strategy. Now, when I say digital marketing strategy, what do I refer to or what do I mean? A digital marketing strategy is a plan of action to achieve your marketing goals. So, when I say strategy, I think most of you know that strategy means planning in advance, right? So, it is a plan of action which is achieved by a particular goal. And you can achieve this by using channels like paid, earned, social media, and all of it which come under the strategy. And also, depending on your job scale, the strategy might involve planning, each with a different agenda and the end result. So, in this session, we are going to be focusing on the planning aspect. And strategy mainly involves more creative thinking, and also it is difficult to create one. So, let's see how to get started with prioritizing your strategy or your planning for your business operation. And also, planning is basically for maximizing your business benefits and the goals associated with it. So, why do you think planning is required? What is the main agenda or the main goal of having a plan? Undoubtedly, digital marketing is becoming an integral part of our lives and also our business as well. So, without this added to your plan structure, you are missing out on a lot of opportunities to connect with your customer base. So, the main goal is to connect your customers and then move forward to how you can improvise yourself or improvise your method of dealing with your customers. However, you can actually make your strategy work, but you should have some clarity in it. This clarity can be got by proper planning. So, some major reasons that you should consider having a perfect digital marketing plan will be you'll be easily able to attract viewers to your website, and also you'll be converting. So, if you get viewers onto your website who are actually looking out for something which they need and you're giving out something which they want, so it is going to be becoming a proper conversion rate there. You can actually get a sale out of it, and also they will become your loyal customers. And create a marketing strategy that helps in planning all the actions on how to reach your target customer. Target customer is something which you should analyze or research about, guys. Target customers are those who actually want something from you and you're giving something to them, and they might have some issues or they might have some queries related to what they're going to be paying for. So, this is how you should make your strategy to reach them in a way that they will find it easier to interact with you and also have trust in you. You'll also gain a lot of in-depth knowledge of the market and your target audience. So when you do a proper research, proper homework on how you can analyze your viewers, how you can work your way around the target audience, you're good to go, guys. And this lets you use all the resources that are available in an effective and an organized way. So when I say planning, it is pretty sure or pretty obvious that it should be an effective plan where you can utilize all your resources, and also you should do it in a perfect way. So these are some major reasons why you should take up digital marketing planning. And also, if you talk about the scale in which marketing or digital marketing is growing, you should start planning your business strategy in a way that you shouldn't try to copy other business strategies and try to implement your business plans accordingly. So you should be unique in that way. Okay, now moving on to the next topic. So, what is the structure of a good marketing plan? Have you guys ever wondered if there can be a structure to a marketing plan? Well, there is. A good marketing plan or a good digital marketing plan is a key to all your strategies that will give you a foundation for all key online marketing activities. So, we have praise to the rescue. What is a praise? What am I talking about when I say praise? Praise is nothing but plan, reach, act, conversion, engagement. So these five put together will make your good digital marketing plan. Now, planning, consider using the data driven approach to review your current digital marketing effectiveness, custom analysis, KPI, that is key performance indicator dashboards, smart objectives, and helps you create a strategy of prioritized improvements on how you can deploy your digital marketing media, technology, and everything. All these come under the plan part of digital marketing planning. So planning is very important. It will eventually help you guys in conversion also. And talking about reach, you should be able to build awareness using online marketing channels or mediums like social media marketing, SEO, that is search engine optimization, content marketing, and so on. And this will drive more visits to your website. And talking about act, the next following step would be act. You should know how to act when you get a lead or when you get a feedback regarding whatever you've done or whatever plan that you've been taking part in. Always encourage interactions on your website or sometimes social media, which will help you generate more leads. You should actually involve in more and more interactions with your customers. And talking about conversion, the superlative goal is to generate revenue by retargeting, nurturing, and conversion rate optimization or CRO. This is used in order to remind and persuade your audience or customers to buy any of your product via one of the marketing channels. So this is how the conversion takes place, guys. You have a viewer on your website, he tries to reach you. He tries to go through the website, what you provide, what services you provide, what your products are up to, and so on. So this involves planning here. You should know how to target your customers. You should know how exactly they'll stay if you're going to be giving them discounts on any of the course or any of the product that you're going to be interested in. And the next one is engagement. Increase the number of sales from existing customers by improvising personalized communication using web, email, and social media marketing. I think most of you get emails regarding any of the new product launch on Amazon or Flipkart, right? This is how you build customer engagement. So this is how you have praise to the rescue. And once you know your way around this, let's give you a breakdown of a step-by-step structure of a digital marketing plan. First thing you should know is list your business goals. You should know what your business goals are. You should know how to define your business goals. So the very first thing to do when you're developing your digital marketing plan is to carry out an internal and external analysis of your firm. They need to be so important to brand your business, but it'll definitely help on your final marketing plan document that sets the stage for everything to come. Also, to do this, we have some useful framework called SWOT analysis. So this is going to be helping you in looking into matters like strengths, weakness, opportunities, and the market. So what is a SWOT analysis? Something familiar, something new? All right. So let me just not beat around the bush and let me give you a proper definition to what a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique used to help an organization identify its strength, weakness, and opportunities, threats, and everything related to business competition or project planning. Once you have everything in place, strive hard to put up some goals related to your domain. Also, the wonderful part is you can work on developing your digital marketing plan with SMART goals. Now, the question is, what does SMART stand for? Is it a full form? Is it an abbreviation? Is it just saying SMART goals in general? Let me help you guys. SMART goals are nothing but the abbreviation for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. SMART goals helps in analyzing your business venture. Now, when I say specific, it deals with leads, the number of visits that you get onto your website, and so on. Measurable helps in providing a specific number of those leads and visits. Attainable deals with analyzing the benchmarks that you've set. And relevant helps in relating back to the overall end goal. And last but not the least, timely. So you should know how to finish everything within the time frame. So this is how SMART comes into picture, and SMART goals are very essential if you're going to be starting a business venture of your own. Now the next is research your target audience. This is important for focusing on trying to get the traffic and reaching the right audience. If you don't research your audience before creating your content, you might end up creating something really useless, so which is definitely not recommended or which is not appreciated. So you shouldn't actually do it. You need to first analyze their interests and plan accordingly. There are so many ways where you can collect prospects information to create a good persona, such as we have web analytics data, web-based surveys, focused groups, and blog post comments. So these are some mediums through which you can get some information regarding your prospects and also their interests. The next on the list is the design persona. You should design your persona in such a way that people cannot find a single fault in your product. If you have the required customer data in hand, you're good to create a good buyer persona, guys. You can't create an effective digital marketing plan without knowing who you want to reach. A buyer persona is important in this case. Generally, a buyer persona is a fictional thing, guys. It is people that represents the traits of people you're trying to target to buy your products or services. So it's like a robot in between you and the customer. So how does this buyer persona help in digital marketing? What does it have to do with anything that is related to marketing field? So buyer personas help you know who to target when you're running your campaign. In many cases, there might be a chance that you might have more than one buyer persona whom you'd be targeting. So creating these personas help you market to different types of buyers based on their interests and needs. So buyer persona is important in digital marketing planning. Now the next is define your marketing strategy. Once you're done with defining your business goals, personalizing your strategy, and helped in planning, the major things that affect these would be the strategy, the entire strategy on how you're going to be building up your plan. So the first thing would be the audience. You should know what to focus on, whom to focus on, and how to focus on. So what gives you the answer to what kind of content you should create? Whom gives you the answer to who to target? That is the prospects that you should consider focusing on. And how to target are the mediums, the channels or the marketing channels which you can go for to reach the audience. Ranking. This plays a major role, guys. You need to know how you're going to be communicating with a unique value proposition and how to do so appropriately in terms of channels. So ranking plays a vital role because you'll be having your page or your website rank on Google, and which will eventually drive more traffic to your website. And the next is content strategy. Know how to create informative content, keyword research, social posting, and so on. So now that you know how to define your goals, how to create your strategy, how to create a buyer persona, let's take a look at the last thing that you should do after creating an effective strategy. That is, choose the right marketing platform. It doesn't matter if you're new to digital marketing or have enough experience in this field. But what matters is your idea about marketing it via the right channels. There are a few marketing channels or mediums through which you can let people know about your product. So utilize this knowledge and market it in the right way. So the first thing is you cannot stick to one digital marketing channel. You need to be well versed in all channels, starting from SEO. With over 2.7 million blog posts getting published every other day and more than 500 million tweets per day, you have no choice but to enhance your knowledge in a particular marketing channel. So choose the right marketing platform for your business, and your planning is done right, and it will eventually lead to more revenue generation as well. Now, moving on to the next topic, we have how to make an effective digital marketing plan. So follow these instructions to have an effective digital marketing plan. So the first thing you should do is brand yourself. The very first thing leading to success of your digital marketing plan is defining your brand. It is important to analyze your company's growth, your ins and outs of your brand, so that you can easily sell your product. In addition to this, create unique selling points or USPs in general to give proper insights about your brand to the audience. Also, even here, focus on the SMART goals, which is namely specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So, focus on these goals. Will be branding yourself as a trustworthy company. So, in order to try to increase your audience base, follow these instructions. The first thing is launch your product. So, this is more important, guys. Launching your product, which is error free, bug free, and so on. So, you should focus on creating your product first and reach out to new markets. If you're very confident about your product, just reach out to new markets, and it can vary depending on your location or the type of audience. And also try to promote your product. Promotion is a must, even if it's a very minute thing that you've done, you've achieved something, you've created something on your own, try to promote it. And also, you can improve your ROI, that is return on investments. Usually, when I say marketing, it costs you a lot of money, guys, but using digital marketing, the cost that you're going to be spending on marketing campaigns or so on will be less. Even if it's more, you're going to be getting more back in return. That is the improvement in the ROI. And next, analyze the market growth and expand your market share with respect to the competition. Try to optimize your conversion funnel. So when I say conversion funnel is something where you will know the exact ratio of how many people are landing onto your website and how many people are actually buying your product. So the number of people landing on your page and the number of people who are actually going to be buying your product is very less, because the number of viewers will be very more. They'll be interested to see how your product will work, what you guys are into, and so on. But eventually, when the process takes place, they will not be much interested in your product. They'll try to say that I found another one which is more interesting, which is more nice, or very better compared to whatever you're selling. So I'm going to be going to that. And now I don't want this. So these are a few ways where you can try to optimize your marketing funnel and try to attract new customers and increase the number of sales. So attracting new customers wouldn't be easy if your product is performing well. So make sure that your product is right. So these are a few important points you should note for having a perfect digital marketing plan. Now moving on to creating an effective marketing plan, we have choose the right marketing platform. If you're creating an effective digital marketing plan, you need to choose the right marketing platform. There are several marketing channels through which you can easily promote your content and get good leads from it. Some major channels include search engine optimization, content marketing, social media marketing, pay per click, email marketing, and so on. So choose the right one for your business. Now measure the business. Once everything is in place, you need to know how to measure goals. Not just create a plan in such a way that it'll help users, it'll help you gain more profit. It is not like that. You should know how to measure your goals. You should know how to analyze where you're losing traffic or where you're gaining interest of people. So a strategy or a plan will always yield results, and you should always have a strategy to measure the results. So this is a crucial phase of digital marketing, guys. It determines whether your business was successful with the efforts that you put in or not. You will be done with your marketing plan only if you will be able to analyze and measure the corresponding results. And you can measure your marketing strategy results using KPIs. Like I mentioned, they are key performance indicators. These help in determining your campaign's success, and also it helps in showing you if you've got an expected ROI or not. Also, in addition to this, you should have a real-time data visualization system. Why do you need a data visualized system? This is because the world is evolving towards digitalization and there is much more to explore in this field. So be up to date with the current market trends, identify opportunities and room for improvement in an instant. So these are the ways you can actually improve your marketing campaign, or these are the effective ways which you can design your marketing plan. Now, moving on to the next topic, we have the best practices for a better digital marketing plan. So in order to increase or improve your digital marketing plan, you should follow some guidelines or some practices, right? So the first one would be prioritize your customers' need and plan accordingly. So when you're into marketing, you should always prioritize your customers' needs first. This is because you'll be giving more and more time to your customers. You should know what their thought process about your product is. You should know how to analyze the situation, give them proper guidelines, provide help when they need it, and so on. And also audit your SEO on a regular basis. SEO is mainly into blogs and articles, like I mentioned. So audit your SEO in such a way that it will help your website rank first on the search engine result pages. Conduct webinars and live events. Webinars actually help in improving your knowledge about the subject, and also this will eventually help the customers who are looking for an answer. So conduct webinars and live events. Live events basically deals with you being there in person and explaining about the product. Now, next is prioritize blog as your primary lead generation medium. This is because organic traffic drives more traffic to your website, guys. So focus on creating more blogs or more videos regarding any of your product generation, any of your marketing plan. Make organic traffic your priority. Like I mentioned, blogging, video making, all of it come under organic traffic generation. So give more importance to organic traffic. Distribute your content on the marketing channels. We have so many social media marketing mediums or marketing channels through which you can promote your product. We have social media, which is like a boon to us and which is helping us in all ways that we need. So these are some best practices that you should consider while taking up or while creating a proper digital marketing plan.
So why do we need a digital marketing strategy? Whenever you come online, you have a goal. So it could be either branding or performance. When we say performance, it could be sales, it could be leads. Now imagine you have a clear sales target in place for your website. So then the question comes, right? I need to be digital. I need to spend money online. But then what should be my strategy? How should I spend it online? Right? So what are the various elements in digital marketing? That's where digital marketing strategy takes an important place. So what is the digital marketing strategy? Any strategy is a plan. So similarly, digital marketing strategy is a plan to achieve your digital marketing goals. So when you're doing branding, your goal would be to reach the maximum number of people at probably the lowest cost, right? And reach them at a higher frequency. So that could be in terms of branding. When you're looking at performance, right? So if you're looking at lead generation campaign, whether it's in the education side, healthcare, or financial services, or even training, online training, any one of this, the goal could be leads, and leads at a lower cost, right? And then when you look at e-commerce, it could largely be sales, sales at as low cost per sale as possible. You also have metrics like cost per acquisition of a new customer. So how to get started? So there's 7 steps as we define how to get started with your digital marketing strategy, right? The first thing is obviously branding. You clearly define your product. You need to think of how do you want to position your brand. What is the message that you want to convey to the end user about your brand, right? Then go ahead and create smart goals. Do you want sales? Do you want leads? Or do you want to increase awareness? So that's how you define your goals. Build buyer persona. Now, whom should we target? Now I have built the brand. I have identified the qualities of the brand, defined the qualities of the brand, but then I cannot show the ad to everyone. I have to define buyer persona. So how does my probable customer react? How does my probable customer act? Who should be my probable customer? So for example, if you're selling a bike, so Bajaj bike, right? Imagine they want to sell it online. They probably would not target someone who is above 50 years. Their target age group would be someone who is from 16 to 25, 16 to 35, right? And male largely, right? So if you're selling a bike, if you're selling a scooter or a scooty, you may target women. It's not stereotypes. Let's be very, very clear. It's not stereotypes, but then it's all based on buyer persona, right? So a large part of my users of this bike are of this category or of this age group, this gender, and this from location. So you also define which location they are from. So a particular bike or a particular thing could sell more in the south, a particular thing could sell more in the north. You have your own data. So based on that, you build your buyer persona. Now the next thing is choose the right marketing strategy. What should be your strategy? Are you trying to create awareness? Are you trying to create sales? Are you trying to generate leads? So define your strategy very well. So a large part of these FMCG brands, like all these soaps or any of those, when they try to leverage digital, they try to do branding. So increase awareness about the features of the product to the customers, right? Increase awareness about the features of the product to the customer. That's the most important thing for them. So you would always see them on YouTube video ads, right? You would always see them in Facebook. You would also see them in Instagram, and sometimes in Snapchat or any of these channels. They would do in large volume with the main objective to reach maximum number of people at a lower cost. So define your marketing strategy. What is it? Is it branding? Is it sales? Or is it lead generation? Now the next thing is, once you have defined it, how do you allocate marketing budgets? The next thing is define marketing budgets and then allocate the marketing budgets to the right channels. So today there are multiple channels which are available, and each channel has its own properties. So for example, there is Google search. You have all intent. So people already have the intent to take an action, do a purchase. So when you want to drive sales or drive leads, right? So you do search. On the other hand, if you look at Facebook or Instagram or any of those, Snapchat or any of these channels, right? So there's not much of intent. So you do a push, but then that's also drives sales in some cases. That also drives engagement. So you have different metrics. So based on those metrics, you define your marketing budget across various channels. If it's a financial services product, you would go ahead and do on money control. You would go ahead and do in economic times. And the next thing is launch your marketing campaigns. So you've done the plan, you allocated all your budgets, go ahead and launch it and keep track. And then there is a circular loop, right? So once you keep track, you evaluate what is the performance of each of these channels, which had a better impact in terms of what your goals were. And then you use that as a feedback. And then for the next month or the next quarter, you realign your marketing budgets in the same line as, based on your goals. So key points to note: always set an objective. Yes, analyze your past efforts. There should always be feedback so that you constantly improve and then make this channel as a very effective channel, right? Because the thing is, the biggest limitation or the good thing or the bad thing with digital marketing is everything is tracked. So now everything is tracked, which is good because now you know how much of your budget got wasted. Because there is a theory which says 50% of a marketing budget has gone waste. The only limitation is I don't know which one. In digital marketing, you can clearly know which part of your budget has gone waste to a large extent. Now that's also a problem. How are you using that information to improve your campaigns in the future? So that's where there's a constant requirement for feedback. Use past data and try to improve future campaigns, right? So communicate. The entire digital marketing space is very new to a lot of advertisers. Most of our the senior staff in the industry have experienced offline advertising to the core, right? And the good thing about offline advertising is if you do a hoarding, you see the hoarding at that particular place. If you do a print ad, you see print ad at that particular place. Unlike digital advertising, until and unless you take a roadblock ad on some of these top newspapers, whether it is Economic Times or Money Control or any of those, the senior manager would not see it. How do you then help him understand? So if you do a Google search ad, right? If you're running a Google search ad for someone, if you run out of budget, when the person's actually when the boss sees the ad, the ad doesn't show up. Which also brings to the point you have to constantly communicate, educate them, right? The advantages of digital marketing, the limitations of digital marketing. The more important thing is the limitations of digital marketing, right? So then lastly, make an effective plan. As you have a detailed feedback loop, inputs from multiple sources, plan becomes more effective as you go along. How to structure your plan? So first is have detailed plan, right? So define your reach. Whom do you want to reach? Who is your target audience? And then how do you want to reach them? Which are the channels you want to advertise so that you reach your target audience? So to give you a simple example, Snapchat. Take example of Snapchat. Snapchat today in India has probably around 40 million users. But if you look at it, segregate the audience or users into various categories, 95% of them are in the age group of 16 to 23. You have this particular data point. So now if I'm trying to reach people, both boys and girls or men or women in that particular age group, I know Snapchat is the best tool, best channel. So when we say reach, so you identify whom you want to reach, and the second thing is how you want to reach. Once you identify whom you want to reach, you also know their buyer persona, their age, their demographics, their gender, their location. Then you identify the channel which helps you to reach this particular set of audience. Now the next thing is go and act. Act is go and execute your campaigns. And then obviously you track your conversions, right? So then engagement. So there is a research which says in the online space, before any customer takes action on a website, he has to interact with that particular brand, either on their website or on multiple websites which are not under their control for at least 80 times. So engagement is the most important thing here. So the more you engage the customer across multiple channels, either just with your presence or through your paid advertising, the higher the chances that the customer will come and do a purchase or take an action on your website. So engagement is very important, right? So that's how you build your entire digital marketing strategy. So take an example. Most of you would have experienced this, right? You go to Myntra or you go to Amazon.in, you check out some products, you see some 3-4 products, did not do any transaction. Now you go to any other website where you're reading content. So you will see an ad. You'll see an ad which has 6 products. You'll see a banner ad which has 6 products. So what are we trying to do there? One, we call that as remarketing, but then we are also trying to engage with the customer. When you go to the website, you only have seen 1 or 2 products. But when you see the ad, you see 6 products or sometimes more than those. So what Amazon is trying, or any e-commerce retailer is trying to show to the end customer, See, I have more products than what you have seen. Forget sales as a first point. As a first thing you are saying, boss, I have more products than you have actually seen on my website, which might be very useful to you, very relevant to you. Some part of this budget gets allocated to branding, some part of this budget gets allocated to performance. Ideally, it should be, but a large part of it gets allocated to performance or sales. So engagement is a very important metric. So how many times did the customer interact with our brand before taking any action? Now, how do you increase engagement for a new customer? So he lands up on the page. If it's a lead generation, you cannot do anything. Largely, you have just the form before the customer can do anything. But if when you're doing SEO, he comes onto your site. So you have to structure the page in such a way that the user visits more than 2 pages or more than 3 pages when he's actually visiting your site. So how do you do it? So the content that is built, the content that is developed would have a lot of internal links, right? So very, very relevant topics to that particular product, the main product that he's seeing, the main content that he's reading, right? And then you send him to the next page. So he reads more information. So look at it this way. Take an example. If you want to open a demat account in the financial services, demat, or take loans, for example, if you want to take a loan, you come to a particular page. You read about how to get a loan. You know, there's a loan from SBI, there's a loan from Citibank, there's a loan from any of these banks, right? But you have another question. What is the interest rate? So now another page which talks about interest rates, you will go visit the page on interest rates, get that information there, right? So now, okay, you define the interest rates. Now, what are the payment terms? How do you pay? Do you pay at the beginning of the month? Do you pay at the end of the month? So these are all FAQs. These are all questions which people have, right? So there are how, what, why, right? So if you're actually answering them, interlinking all of them, you're engaging the customer more. The more you engage the customer, the higher the chances that he will take an action on the site, and higher the chances that our digital marketing plan execution becomes successful. Tactics to tackle the challenges that you face in digital marketing when you're executing the plan. So what are the problems that you face what are the challenges that you face, right? So when you're doing branding, you might have a goal. I want to reach 1 million people at this cost. But then you half through the campaign, your cost is almost double. So which means if you're allocated ₹1,00,000 to reach 1 million people, you only reach probably 1/4 and you spend half. What that means is to reach 1 million people, you need to 2x of the amount. So you need 2 lakhs, right? But you don't have any approval for it. How to tackle those challenges? So identify simpler solution, right? Simpler solution is identify another channel which is not expensive, which is not completely, which is relevant, but not completely relevant. End of the day, one of the goals for branding is to reach more people. If one of the goals for branding is to reach more people, you would always redo your plan and probably reach those channels. So I've already mentioned feedback. Feedback is one of the important things, right? So to tackle all the challenges that you have as far as digital marketing is concerned. So to make feedback work exceptionally well, you also need to track all your metrics. So first define metrics well, track those properly, and then use those metrics that you have tracked to define and to improve your performance, right? So that's one. Second is, so each channel, one could look at it in a deeper way. So let's look at SEO, search engine optimization. Good thing is, take an example. I'm ranking well for the keywords. I'm getting a good CTR. I'm getting people onto the site. But then the next problem comes up. I have a very high bounce rate. People are just coming to the page, probably not reading through the entire page, but then just exiting. How do you solve that? So when you have a high bounce rate, you also don't get much leads, right? So people are not engaging with your site, right? So engaging is like reading more content or giving you the lead details so that you could follow them up and try to do a sale. So how do you do that? How do you solve this, right? So two things. One, ensure that your organic content is in line with what people are searching for. So rework on your content on the page, right? So do a content optimization. The second most important thing is look at the layout of the page. So if one of your goals is engagement, am I able to drive the user from one page to another page, right? So that he reads more content. So take an example of a newspaper. Take an example of a newspaper. If you look at Times of India, you read one article, you will see links to 20 other articles on the site, and few of them, then probably 3 or 4 are linked, relevant or similar to the one article that you read. Right? So what is Times of India trying to do? Times of India is trying to do engage you more, spend more time on the website, read more content, right? So the more you read content on Times of India, the more he makes money, right? So through advertising. Now, if your goal is actually to generate leads, look at the layout of the page. Does the page have a lead form? First question. If it doesn't have a lead form, get a lead form in place. Second question, where is the lead form? Is it at the right place? Is it at the top? Is it at the bottom of the page? Do I need two lead forms? Do I need one on the top, one at the bottom? Define it. So that the moment he reads the content, the next step for him is only to show interest. Now, how should the lead form be? Do you want to collect the mobile number OTP verified, or do you want to just collect basic details? Today's world, when mobile OTP works seamlessly, when I say seamlessly, you get the OTP within few seconds. Few could be 2 or 3. It's better to have a OTP verified lead rather than non-OTP verified lead, because now you know the mobile number is valid, right? You can reach him. You can reach him to actually do a sale. Define the problem well, and based on that, change the structure of your page. Now, yes, what happens is if you just have a lead form on the top, the user has read the entire content on the page, he's come to the bottom, there's no lead form, he's just exited. The purpose has been lost. So the way people do it is, you could have another lead form at the bottom, or you could have a sign up now button, which again sends them back to the top of the page. So this is strategies one can use to change the layout of the page and then get leads, or then achieve your goal. Understand paid advertising. Paid advertising is probably much more tough in some cases compared to even organic content or SEO. Why? So there are multiple forms of keywords, right? So are you doing broad match? Are you doing exact match? Are you doing phrase match? Understanding this itself will take you a lot of time, good amount of time. Now, yes, when you're doing broad match, you will get a lot of keywords for which searches are happening. So you go back to what is called as a search keyword report, search terms report. So exact search terms for which your ad started showing. Based on that, you have to define what are your negative keywords. So for example, you should never be present for negative keywords. So take an example, so online tuitions, right? Online training, online tuitions. So if Edureka, for example, offers only online tuitions, online training on online certifications, if someone searches for a training course near me, so that's another big keyword, keyword with a lot of search volume. Training courses near me. Should I come in the search results or not? It's a question. Ideally, since you don't have any center nearby and you're only offering online tuitions, we're only offering online tuitions, we don't want to rank for that keyword, because the intent of the person is to find training center, something which is near to his home. So since I don't have a solution for it, I would not want to. But yes, again, depends on the budget. You could also change the mindset of the person. Let him, even if he's searching, I will still want to show my ad so that, on a call, I could convince him to actually take up the online course, right? Shift your focus to content marketing. Life stage of the product. Life stage of the product defines the content, the branding, the positioning, the content related to the product, and you could leverage that to do your promotions.